This week in White Supremacy. If this is your first time, what's up? You know, you're welcome to be here. We hope you engage and learn and laugh.
Elhan wa salam.
Yes. And if this is, you know, if you're a repeater viewer, what's up? You already know how we get down. I'm Jasiri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. And to my immediate right,
Miracle.
Miracle, the main attraction. Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the main
attraction.
Miracle,
Like
That does have an ring to it.
the main attraction with two E's. You know what I'm saying?
MMA.
Oh,
MMA. Miracle, the main attraction.
I like that.
unfair colorist, you know, UFC.
Oh, God.
Wow.
You know
Okay,
what?
I see.
Starting already.
I feel like I'm the fair colorist.
Oh,
I
wow.
feel like I've been targeted and bullied, and now that I respond, you have a problem.
Because with the gas light skins.
the gaslight
The
skins.
gaslight
The
skins
gaslighting light skins
have
is what y'all
emerged.
are. Anyways, Miracle.
That make us
AKA
twin flames?
Wow. Wow. The gaslight skins.
Your soulmates right there.
Wow.
Are you happy?
Crazy.
Oh,
Your
man.
twin flame.
Oh.
Wow.
Miracle, aka Big Blessing with the big blessing.
And my brother.
It's your boy, Trevor NLS.
Yes.
Never like supremacy, but niggas love sarcasm.
Yes. Yes, we do.
saying?
Yes, we do. We thoroughly enjoy it. And speaking of sarcasm,
Hey, sometimes Allah is displeased.
yes. Yes,
Allah is
definitely.
the best knower.
Definitely.
But Allahu Alim.
Yes,
Allahu
yes.
Alim. Man, it's the supreme Asiatic intelligently divine. Scarborough's Ayatollah is dope. Oh, yeah.
Shut the whole podcast down.
Shut the whole podcast down with a few
Nonsense.
jokes, man.
Relax. Okay.
Jesus
Relax.
Christ, man.
Focus on the problem at hand. And
Yeah.
and one thing about America right now,
It's mad.
I'm gonna say which problem.
a lot of plot lines, right? Like it's
So
a
many.
lot of plot. Like they all have cliffhangers. They're all like twists and turns and going crazy right now. And you know, it kind of seems like it. In one way, it seems like it's come out of nowhere, but in another way, there's something that's been building for many months.
What if we found out that like Vince McMahon was just behind us, like writing the script?
Somebody is
Like,
behind this.
yeah.
But right now, we're seeing college protests erupt all over college campuses, including at some campuses that school is even out. You know
How
what
you
I'm
get
saying?
fired on your day off?
Like you would think these
Wow.
colleges beg people to come to class. They would be happy that people want to stay there.
1,000%. But right now, well, they're not happy with how it's happening. I mean, we have in Columbia University today, they took over a hall at Columbia University. And it was an historic, kind of like you talked about last episode, Miracle, about how a lot of the protests are being framed around a lot of the anti-war protests, right? So Columbia had a famous protest in the 80s around like divesting in South Africa, and folks are kind of repeating this thing, and they took over this hall because that's what they did in the 80s, and now they're talking about these students being expelled.
I know the same people who stormed the Capitol aren't complaining about students protesting on a university.
Well, exactly. That's exactly.
I know.
what
With
The
no
pe-
bow tie, with no zip ties,
no zip ties.
Nothing.
no guns,
No guns.
no plan to kill elected officials.
No
Nope.
Taco Bell.
Just camping out.
Just camping out.
No galleys.
Yeah. I'm
Nothing.
saying.
Right?
Yeah, no gallows.
No hang nooses.
Didn't shit on no
No
walls.
police officers killed.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
But are being dealt with much more harshly. Because remember, when we saw what
For
happened
peaceful
at the Capitol,
protesting.
right? Remember, the police weren't there. Donald Trump initially didn't want to call in the National Guard. We knew if that was black people, they would have descended on that with
Drop
fire
bombs.
and brimstone,
Listen, yo,
right?
White
But-
phosphorus, everything.
But in many ways, this is how they're coming at a lot of these college campuses. We saw the University of Texas, all of these state troopers, they're all swatted out with their, and just really grabbing students, throwing them on the ground.
This is what we trained for. We can't wait to go mash up some liberals.
Right. And now we're seeing the students actually being expelled, right? Students at Columbia being expelled, students at NYU being expelled. Miracle, what now? Because then what is that? That's going to lead, I'm assuming, there are going to be more protests to reinstate these expelled students that are simply trying to say we want a peaceful world, and we want a world in which our universities are not funding the mass murder of poor and oppressed people all over the world. And to me, that's not really, is that so hard to ask?
Apparently it is.
Apparently that's a bridge too far, right?
It's a bridge too far, and it's a few reasons. One is that we have billionaire donors who are investing in college universities because they want to create technology that kills people.
True.
One thing. We have endowments that invest in Israeli bonds that is used to purchase weapons of mass destruction that kill people. Then we have folks who just believe that students do not know what they're talking about, and students should just be happy to have the privilege of getting an education and ignore the fact that their school
Sounds
is
very fascist.
investing in a genocide. And you know what? We are in a fascist regime right now in the United States of America. And we like to pretend that we are not, but we have literally seen police officers, state troopers, even a call for the National Guard to be deployed to stop student protesters from camping outside on the lawn. They're not running amok in the facilities.
No mucks have been
taking, people hostage. They're literally just camping out on the lawn.
Isn't that what those lawns are used for?
Right? And on top of that, we've even seen situations where the actual anti-Semitic things have come from Zionists themselves, right? So it was Northeastern Israeli protesters, the one who was shouting, like, kill the Jews.
Right,
and that triggered the police to come in and arrest people, right? We've seen at Columbia, it was outside agitators who were not even students who were saying, go back to Poland. And so what we have been seeing is students who have been maintaining that the genocide needs to end, be met with more repercussions than actual white supremacists who have marched through these cities and towns calling to kill people, rape people, and murder people.
Yes.
We've seen students face more repression than actual January 6th individuals and supporters who were wanting to kill the president.
Yeah. Well, not the president, the vice president.
They wanted to kill Joe Biden.
Oh, yeah, but also Mike Pence.
And Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi. It has been the peaceful folks who've been moving against the state investment in death that has been met with the violence of the state. We're talking about broken bones. We're talking about people who've been made houseless, homeless, who have been told they can't have access to food, who can't have access to running water. We've seen places where they actually turn on the sprinklers, which is like reminiscent of the 50s turning on the fire hoses.
True.
And it's like, all we are saying is stop killing people.
Right.
And today, Netanyahu said he's going into Rafah.
Right.
He's going to do whatever he wants in Rafah, and no one's going to stop him. And so it is incumbent upon all of us to do what we can to stop this violence. And I don't think it's going to get better. I think we're going to see some very extreme violence in the coming days. And no matter what has happened, we have to remember that it's our government that supplied the weapons.
Yeah.
It's our government that supplied the bombs. And it's our government that bullied other countries and nations and international bodies to not intervene. And so every death is our fault. And we have to understand that and do whatever we can to mobilize and push against it.
Right. It was our government that was consistently raising their hand in veto of a kind of an international, the UN calling for a ceasefire. You mentioned, this is a headline from the AP. It says Netanyahu vows to invade Rafah with or without a deal. And so again, like when you talk about negotiating in bad faith, and so here we are trying to negotiate a ceasefire and the hopes, right? And this is even the hopes of, according to the at least the spoken hopes of Biden and Bilkin and kind of those foreign policy folks, is to not invade Rafah, understanding that like they don't want more Palestinian deaths. So trying to stop Netanyahu from invading Rafah, and then so to come out and say, even if there's a ceasefire deal, you're still going to invade Rafah, then why should we make a deal with you? And it is wild to see, like, again, like Netanyahu and others kind of given this stage to speak and very little pushback. But then here is the USC's valedictorian, right? And this sister's name is Asna Tabassum.
There you go.
I worked on that. I practiced that like in my mind a lot.
Hooked on phonics, man.
Yes, Asna Tabassum, who is simply she did the work, right? She did the work of becoming the most decorated student graduating this year to be valedictorian, but because she is somebody that was critical of the United States policies and the Israeli government's policies in Palestine, they not only won't let her speak, they literally canceled the whole commencement ceremony. And what's so wild about this is these are the same students whose ceremonies were canceled in 2020 because of COVID, because this is 2024.
They took all the rights away.
So can you imagine? And it's simply be like, and this is the thing, like, think about she done been on all the major news shows, right?
Right, yeah.
You could have just let her say her piece. That video would have been shared and everybody would have moved on.
Right.
And people might have remembered her name, and I'm sure she would say some very, very profound things because she has been. Clearly, this is a brilliant young woman. But would it have been all of this? And again, it's the same thing. If you just let these students camp out and have their protests and just leave them alone, would it have even spiraled to the place where it is now, where now Columbia has to cancel, literally, like, they shut the whole campus down.
Yeah.
Other colleges around the country shutting their campuses down. People barricading themselves in different places. And it's like, I just don't understand, other than like, well, this is America, right? You want to oppress, bomb, harm, and take from people because that's how we got here in the first place.
Yeah, I think that the problem, everybody did stuff right. They protested. They engaged their elected officials. They did the polls that said over 70% of people want a ceasefire.
Yes.
They pointed out that Israel and Hamas had violated all of these conventions.
Yes.
People said, let's go to the ICC, let's go to the ICJ. They did everything, and the president went around Congress and said, I'm going to do this.
True.
Last week, it was revealed that our own U.S.-based lawyers have said that Israel has violated multiple human rights violations. This is mind-boggling. We should be advocating for a diplomatic solution in Israel. We should be advocating for a democratic state. And instead, we're like, you know what? We may just go ahead and create World War III, and we may just go ahead and just possibly kill over 1 million people and just act like we somehow couldn't stop it.
What's fascinating is, and I want to come to you, Trouble and Farouk, is one, these young people from all over the country and many at these like elite universities are saying, like, not in our name, not with our money, and kind of coming together to make that stance. And then on the other side of that is this election that's coming down where, you know, the Democrats particularly are going to supposedly need this young group to kind of fend off a possible new Donald Trump presidency. So it's like, it's almost like when they say like between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
We're like between like a boulder and like what's like aluminium or whatever. What's the hardest metal you can possibly think
diamond
of,
is
right?
the hardest substance
yes,
on the man, yeah.
Diamond and I mean, it's crazy right now. So just what's your take on everything, Trouble?
One thing I want to say is that I admire every single person who put their education on the line to speak out against something that they don't believe in.
Could you say that sentence again, though?
I want to just give props to everyone who put their education on the line.
That part right there.
To stand up for what they believe in. And I think it's crazy that their education even is on the line in the first place, because they're coming to these institutions to learn to think for themselves, to learn critical thought, and to pretty much utilize that to shift this country and this world and be leaders of thought and stuff like that. I also think it's wild that you have Joe Biden running for president again, not taking, accountability and protecting these students and giving them the space they need to speak up against his inaction.
Absolutely.
You would think that he would take more of a concerted effort to be like, you know what, okay, let's meet their demands. If we're not going to meet their demands, let's at least hear them out. what I'm saying? But he's pretty much like, yo, fuck it, do what you got to do.
Yes. This is one piece. It says Joe Biden condemns Columbia student occupation as Gaza protests intensify. So again, here's the White House basically saying, it says President Joe Biden, this is the White House spokesman Andrew Bates, respects the right to free expression, but protests must be peaceful and lawful. It says forcibly taking over buildings is not peaceful, it's wrong, and hate speech and hate symbols have no place in America. You know what I'm saying?
But he didn't say that on January 6th, though.
That was legitimate political discourse. That's why.
He was probably hiding on January 6th, hoping that they didn't come grab him up.
There is this idea that anytime there is Arabic or Urdu or anytime a non-English phrase is used, that it's somehow hate speech, that it's somehow threatening, and that is rooted in anti-Blackness, and that is rooted in xenophobia, and the fact that we do not actually interrogate what these words and phrases mean to the people who are uttering them and not to the people who are listening to them.
Right.
And that has been a huge issue, whether it was from the river to the sea, whether it was from, Free Palestine or Liberation Now. What we had was a group of people saying, when I hear this, it reminds me of the words and anti-Semitism of Europe. And we had another group of people saying, no, what we are talking about is freedom and liberation and human rights for all of our community. And only one community got to be heard by the government. And that is, again, the problem of this administration, is that they have not taken the time to engage and to do the work and to build community and to actually allow tough conversation.
Right.
These students are shutting things down because Columbia actually stopped panels and programs that Palestinian students were trying to put on to have a conversation.
Yeah, not just Columbia. Most of these universities, post October 7th, like you said, kind of banned that discourse, disinvited some people that have already been scheduled to speak at these universities out of fear. I did want to share this. It says the College Democrats, the student organization of the Democratic Party, condemned college crackdowns on pro-Palestinian protests and called on President Biden to support a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. So here we have, in the wake of what, even though every election is, they're saying the most important election that we'll ever see, here's the Democratic Party's own student organization saying, no, we need to support these protests, and that you, Joe Biden, need to support a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. You know what I think we need, though?
What's that?
In this moment,
it's
clear what we need, bro. We need a mamala.
No.
We need a mamala to come. Yo, won't they call on a black woman to say,
it's always clean something and give them a hug and lift them up.
It's always,
we need a magical black
They
person.
need a man to show up.
Yeah, a man.
black woman.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Vice President Kamala Harris was on the Drew Barrymore show.
I didn't even know Drew Barrymore had a show.
Not
A
only
show that she crossed the picket line to create and run,
of course,
during the strike.
yes, and received severe backlash. And for whatever reason on this show, like, Drew Barrymore wants to get she wants to conduct an interview like 1 inch into your personal space. I mean, she's all in your face. And this was so weird when you watch the video. So she interviewed Kamala Harris, our vice president, and had this message for her. White women going white. I'm sorry.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be mamala of the country.
Tomato, boo.
And again, it's like, it's such a reductive, here, and again, say what you want about Vice President Kamala Harris' policies.
I will.
Trash, but continue.
Yeah.
But
I heard you put a couple good niggas behind bars.
but you're talking to the
Gator shoe wearer. No. The Rolex wearer.
No, wait, miracle. Let me finish my point.
ahead.
The wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing.
Shut up and let him talk.
I'd be wondering if they understand any of our
They
references.
don't get it.
Kamala Harris is the most successful woman politician in the history of politics. No woman in the history of politics has achieved the level of vice president ever. So you could argue that she is, particularly as a black woman, is the most successful woman politician in history. And so now it's like reductive to say because she's a woman and a black woman, she can't be herself. She can't support this from a position of power, right? Or a position of because you're vice president, you can get into the policy thing. She got to give everybody a hug. Oh, come on, black. You know, Kamala, if you just cooked everybody some fried chicken and some collard greens and some cornbread. we want some, what would you say?
Some latkes.
Oh, shit, some latkes. Oh, shit. That's called a callback to a different episode. If you just cook, and then it's like, so.
Hi, Sheila.
Miracle.
I'm over it. Like, you know what? Yes, allegedly Kamala has been trying to push the president to have a more humanitarian approach. And Palestine was the one who announced the ceasefire call publicly. Irrelevant, because why in the world are you sitting there saying we just need a hug? We don't need a hug. We need bombs to stop dropping.
Yes.
We need people to stop dying.
Yes.
We need actual people empowered. Like, you know what? Our country does not have to live like this.
Yes.
And that is what we need. And for some reason, it's always these like eat, pray, love types always want to sit there and be like the most violent, but then like, let's just hug it out.
Yes.
Let's just, no, you violated the strike. You didn't fight your workers who were on your own show.
True.
And then you're like, you know what? The world is just in such chaos. Let's just all like inhale, exhale, share our chakras and just like hug it out. Maybe let's just, I don't know, use our positions of privilege and power to call for a ceasefire and implement one, right? And this also, every time, and yes, I was the one who was like, Michelle, come on, please run, save us from ourselves.
Yes.
But every time this crapshoot of a country fucks up, it's always this call for like a black person somewhere to come and put on this cape and save the country from itself in order for us to be spat out as soon as people feel safe.
Is it because they know inherently that the problem is white supremacy? They know like inherently that's the problem. And so they know that the solution is not going to come from no white man. And so, but again,
I think it is even more insidious when it comes to black Americans. We know that anti-blackness is global.
Yes.
And so there is no other place for American black people to go.
Yes.
No matter, any other ethnic group in this country has a home language and a physical home to go back to, right? And so black Americans, we only have this country and each other. So at the end of the day, if somebody's going to pull up their sleeves and do the hard work, it's going to be us because we have nowhere else to go. And we get the brunt of the failure first. So we think about what's happened. Roe v. Wade gets overturned. It's black women who are dying more. Yeah. This war on crime, it's black people who go to jail more. It's black people who get arrested. No matter what it is, we deal with it first and the worst. And so it's like, okay, come black people, come save us again. What else is going to happen to you? Like, who's going to take you in? Nobody. Like, where can you go? Nowhere. So you do it, and then we'll follow you, we'll listen to you, we'll trust you, and then we're safe again, we'll abandon you.
It's also, and I want to come to you, Farouk, it's also a piece around, like, you don't want to actually dismantle the systemic, institutional racism and white supremacy that actually has us in this predicament, right? Because Drew Barrymore benefits from that. Right, she benefits. She's not using her platform to talk about any of these issues. They're trying to break it down. So it's always that type of person that's like, oh, if we just show each other love and we just hug, because hugging you is not going to dismantle these things. After post-hug, I still have to deal with violent anti-blackness, racism, systemic and systematic white supremacy that affects me at every turn. It was a story that went viral where this black man was talking about, I took a black walk through a white neighborhood and what that means, right? And those of us who are black that have ever walked through a white neighborhood, or if you've seen the beginning of Get Out, right? You know, like, you have to behave in a particular way or end up dead, right? And so this whole idea that we just need a hug, no, we don't. Like you said, it's so like, oh, we just love one another and have conversation with one another. It would bring us together. No, it won't.
Facts.
We done conversated with y'all. You done interview mad black people and brown people on your show, and they still suffer. And then when you had an opportunity to take a stand for actors, you didn't even do that.
I think that's the insidiousness of not only whiteness, but white women.
Yes.
To be like, you know what? Let's just hug while perpetuating state violence. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%. Farouk?
You lost everything I could possibly say about that, man.
Okay. I thought you had some comments on, Mamala and, her policies and
He
all
was
these.
like, I want to call her Mamala. That's what
Oh shit!
thinking.
He was like, "Oh, is that what you?"
See?
Look, watch out now. No, we're not gonna go there. But again, it definitely was ridiculous. We do have, and it's interesting because we did have a whole show last week. This is what's so crazy about this moment, because if you're in the Democratic Party, right, the moment that you finally waited for has arrived. And because of all of this other stuff and your like mismanagement of this current situation, it's not even on the front page. And that's the Trump trial. Like in the wake of people actually dying and being killed in mass, including women and children, like like Trump being on trial.
He's gonna get into the White House off a technicality.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like it just pales in comparison. What the Democrats wanted is this Trump trial to be on front. But it's not even, we didn't even talk about it last week.
It's not even front page news right now,
Yes,
man.
we didn't even talk about it last week, but we're going to talk about it today because I guess there was a clip about how he's struggling
To stay awake.
like they're giving him things to try to stay awake. Do you have that clip, sir?
Tryptophan Trump.
They got like fidget spinners and shit. He cannot stay awake during the trial.
Your observations on Donald Trump today.
Sleeping. Again, they have tried a number of different devices. Yeah, sleeping for a lot of it. I would say they've tried a number of different devices to keep Trump awake. Partially in response, or what appears to be in response to collective press corps observations. So, for example, when there are sidebars, an attorney doesn't leave his side anymore because leaving him alone means leaving him to potentially sleep. He has a stack of papers with him at all times now to go through. But neither of those things seem to have protected Trump from his own exhaustion today. More than, more than not, when I looked up to see how Trump was receiving the testimony, Trump was not receiving it at all because his eyes were closed.
Really?
Oh, wow. She said his eyes were closed during the testimony.
Tryptophan Trump, man.
I mean, it is interesting to see now. Apparently today, Trump was fined for contempt. And so a gag order took place. So it says Donald Trump was fined $9,000.
Just add that to the 91 million. What's the number?
No, not 91 million.
Or 450 million. Yeah, 450 million.
So really collectively, like damn near 600 million. Just add another 9,000. It says for repeatedly violating a gag order and warning that he could go to jail. This is again, I mean, you talk about like white privilege. Mm-hmm. You could go to jail if he continued to attack witnesses and jurors. Quote, the court will not tolerate continued willful violations of his lawful orders. And this is Judge Meacham. He added that he was keenly aware of the defendant's First Amendment rights, and he would jail Mr. Trump if necessary and appropriate. Miracle, you have called for Trump to be jailed.
Wait, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I
not
just
trying to
was
mess with your
saying-
pockets.
Look, I was just saying, listen.
I don't want you to get fired by the Trump legal team.
That's why we going bang, bang, bang. No, I do think it is inappropriate that he gets to violate the gag order over and over and over again and not face any consequences.
Absolutely.
Yes, he got this $9,000 fine, but if anybody else, people go to jail for these things.
Absolutely.
People get put on house arrest for these things.
Yes.
It's showing you have a disrespect for the court of law. And if he continues to do this, it's like he's pushing the button. He's doing something.
Yes.
And my thing is, like, if he's going to keep doing all of these violations, at some point charges have to be brought in. At some point, it is you literally being held in contempt of court. And that's got to be what you need to do to show this is a serious matter and that this man is not above the law. And until then, it's like, man, move.
But Miracle, according to Trump, he is above the law. And because he was president, he should have presidential immunity, right? You had said something that came out, Farouk, where, do you have that, where Trump's lawyers are arguing this immunity in front of the Supreme Court?
Yes.
Where they basically said
he can authorize an assassination against a political rival.
Yes.
And Justice Sotomayor said, if a president says a rival is corrupt and orders their assassination, is that within his official acts for which he can get immunity? Trump lawyer D. John Sawyer says, it would depend on the hypothetical. But what? It would depend? But we can see that, and that could well be an official act.
But see, is it a black person? Then absolutely shoot him down.
But I mean, are they wrong though? Because presidents overthrow regimes and get people killed every day. Presidents drop bombs, and presidents send drones, and presidents change regimes.
Absolutely.
Presidents wipe out millions of people with the press of a button. So technically,
And
what's another individual person?
Right. And like you said, we're at a point where supposedly the ICC, the International Criminal Court, is that what that stands for?
Yeah.
Is looking at putting charges on Netanyahu and his whole team over what's happening in Gaza right now. So maybe this is a thing where Trump is saying like, hey, if I don't have immunity here,
right,
what happens when we go do some wild stuff? Because if he get in office.
Oh man,
we might need to put our little. I got my passport. I don't know if any of y'all got.
Hey man, I got 2 passports. I'm never going to jail.
Hey, look.
But right now, see, it's this idea that like we should be able to flee this country.
Yes.
When in reality, for people who flee here, we call them refugees and tell them to go back.
Right.
Right. So the idea that we are not doing everything we can to ensure this country is better.
Yes.
Was this idea that we can have an exit strategy? It's like, no. Maybe if we had a better candidate, we would not be in the situation. The fact that this man has 91 felonies, can't stay awake, is probably the most close to fascism that we've ever had. And we still do not have a united backing against his challenger. Maybe should make somebody say, you know what? Chicago, we got to get somebody else in.
It's crazy because like it was like 70% of people polled feel that Trump has committed crimes, and you see these TikTok videos of people asking his supporters, in response to like, what do you say about Trump committing all these felonies and being found guilty? And their responses are, he's not the first person to commit crimes. But that's not what we're saying. We're saying is if you're a person who is campaigning or in support of law and order, right? If you are someone who's saying, okay, well, you know what? I don't want criminals running this country because that's your entire argument against Joe Biden. Then how are you so, aligned with a criminal, with a convicted criminal and someone who's probably going to face some serious, looking at, and if not going to jail, facing serious jail time, being in the Oval Office as president? It doesn't make any sense. It's almost just like we live in this bizarre world where, people are just worshiping Trump as some cult leader, some demagogue that's going to come and save and bring these American values back. It's just fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And it's like, again, he's not only just on trial, he's on trial for like paying a porn star to like be quiet, right? And it's like,
which is what you don't pay porn stars to do, but I digress.
But I mean, and it's like, but the evangelicals.
Not that I have any experience with that.
But he's also like selling Bibles. And
upside down Bibles.
And the evangelicals are like on his side. So again, it's like, but it shows you they're tied, right? Like that's how badly this campaign is going for Biden and Harris. And Donald Trump is reportedly going to have a huge campaign fundraising event at New York's Madison Square Garden.
I mean, why not?
Featuring hip-hop's best and brightest as an attempt to get black voters for Donald Trump.
Who's headlining?
I don't know. It says Donald Trump reportedly looking for athletes.
Oh, that's the one that's on Hip Hop DX?
And hip-hop artists to help recruit black voters.
Wow. I mean, but he's done this before. So this
Absolutely.
But doing it at the Garden is crazy.
Absolutely. Could you imagine?
Doing that shit at the Garden
He
is
gonna bring Diddy
crazy.
back out.
Oh, shit.
Diddy, Russell Simmons. I mean, look. Let's say you're Diddy,
Puff really said, take that.
right? But let's say you're Diddy, and Trump says, "Hey, look, bro, I'll pardon you
Right.
if you support my candidacy and I become president."
I mean,
I mean, because he pardoned
hey,
Kodak
man.
Black.
Well, hey, listen.
He pardoned
Puff
Lil Wayne.
was the one who said, vote or die. Did he not?
He's not facing federal charges. So
Did he
needs
or
federal
did he?
charges.
I was just about to get there. You beat me to the punch.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Remember when Puff was running
He
through
did
New York
say-
City with
he
the
did say
Mohawk
that.
saying vote or
He
die?
did say that. You know what I'm saying?
Like Puff was
That's
during the Bush
Yeah.
campaign. Like Puff came out with all this shit.
Now, do you all think that if Trump has this star-studded event, Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying? Kodak Black, you know what I mean?
Does
like
Kanye come out?
Kanye, Waka Flocka, you know what I'm saying? Like
Benny the Butcher.
all these people that have endorsed Trump, will that, as you know, some of these athletes, you know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia, the boxer,
Yeah, you see-
who just won, was with Trump. Do you think this is going to move
Did
the needle?
you you see the meme where he was shadowboxing Trump? He was like, black people, we have a word for this. What's the Mexican word for it?
Oh, shit. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, oh, that shit is crazy.
Yes.
I do think that Trump is smart.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
he engages in cultural organizing.
Yes.
Without having policy to back it up.
Yep.
So there are some people who find value in being seen who may fall into the trap of supporting Trump.
Yeah.
This is why, again,
Come on, Miracle.
people have said, hey, Democrats, you need to invest money here, here, and here.
Yeah.
You need to outreach to black men outside of barbershops.
Yeah.
You need to have actual policies that
You mean
improve
fried
people's
chicken ain't
lives,
working?
Right? You need to do all of these things.
Joe Biden gonna find a
And
black
they have
restaurant to go to.
And it just has not materialized.
What if Joe
And I
Biden had
think
Keith
that-
Lee?
Oh.
And I think
That's a good
that
one.
Joe Biden and his staff of people
Caretakers?
who are
Hospice workers?
advising him are not living in reality.
Right.
From the people advising him on Gaza to the people advising him on domestic policy, the messaging is not there. Taking away TikTok, the worst decision he could have done for his campaign. When people are talking about
He was making TikToks. How you going to take it away?
Right.
True
So-
indeed.
Because TikTok, so they're not selling.
Right.
Number one. Number two, all TikTok has to do is shut their systems and servers down in the U.S. for a day or two and be like, this is what Biden wants
Yeah.
to do to you.
Yep.
True.
Done.
Easy.
He's lost the election.
Yeah.
Worst mistake ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I don't know who's advising.
He's trying to lose this. Like, he has to be trying to lose this
It
campaign.
seems
It seems
Crazy.
that way, but it's also this white supremacy to think that, like, you do not have to meet people where they are.
Right. Yeah.
And there's also the problem of having billionaires buying elections because they're coming out with the talking points.
You know what
They're
Biden-
coming out with the metrics, and they're losing.
You know what he's going to do if he loses this election? He's going to watch Matlock.
No, they're
He's going
like,
to binge watch episodes
so
of
many
Matlock.
people. The polling is not there.
No.
And again,
it's
this
not.
is not. This has been most third parties are not even launching for another month.
Right.
yeah.
Biden is already trailing Trump in a lot of these polls.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, the statistics
A
do
lot
not
of
bode well
these-
for Biden.
A lot of
Yeah.
I know they're saying they're going to spend millions of dollars in Pennsylvania to get third parties off the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of third parties are going to go. We have a possibility we're going to lose the Senate in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
True.
and we're going to lose the presidency.
True.
All back behind of what's going on in Gaza, and it could be ended yesterday.
True.
Like, it makes absolutely no sense that people are so gung-ho on making sure people in the global south die that they are willing to let our democracy die along with it. And all of our abilities to live and survive and to support ourselves and each other. And this is the reality that we are in. And somebody needs to shake Joe and be like, bruh, this is not going to work.
Not too
Don't
hard,
shake
though.
him too hard.
But my hope is
well.
that in Chicago, he accepts the nomination and concedes and says, it cannot be me.
Did you see?
And he gets somebody else. I don't know if it's going to be Shapiro. I don't know if it's going to be Newsom. But right now, there's no way Biden can be on the ballot in November and win. It's just impossible and improbable. especially with the advent of third parties. And I know people want to say, oh, fascism this and fascism that. But, like, if people, loved ones are dying, their children are gone, their sons are gone, their husbands are gone, you're not going to be able to move them with, oh, fascism will come for you and kill. Okay, well, they're going to be with their families. So, like, this is not, it's not,
it's definitely different. And then and studies have shown, right, as we're further away from Trump's presidency, people look on it more favorably because of how crazy things in America right now. It's that feeling of, like, it's slipping away, right? And it's slipping away under Biden's leadership, right? TikTok has already came out, the parent company said, we're not selling.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, if TikTok then shuts down and you're reliant on, like, these young people that helped to put you in office in the first place, right? These young people and these influencers, and you back this ban, even though you're on the device, it looks kind of crazy.
It's almost like, Trump doesn't have to do anything to win this election.
He doesn't.
He
does have to do one thing.
Stay awake in court
and stay out of prison.
I mean, but even if he goes jail, like, he could possibly win the election from jail.
If he stays out of prison, he possibly gets his. I mean, this is America, right?
And it's like,
will Trump stay out of prison long enough and to get this presidency? It's crazy.
It's crazy because, like, Trump hasn't done anything to entertain or get votes. He's just appearing, right?
Yes.
And all Biden is doing is saying, "I'm not Trump." Biden is not actively engaging a voter base.
There is. It wouldn't be the season of America
if
it wasn't another plot twist. And Miracle just mentioned third-party candidates, and it seems that there's a third-party candidate that could torpedo Donald Trump. His name is RFK Jr.
He's standing on business.
He's standing on business.
I should have had that queued up. I should have had that song queued up. So apparently,
if Trump was smart, he would say, "You don't have a shot."
Wow.
Too soon, Farouk. Too soon. No, sir. Well, this is what Trump said.
But he probably just take that one on the chin.
So, writing on his Truth platform, it said Donald Trump had some words for RFK. So apparently, RFK is courting Republican voters.
Yes.
And those Republican voters could help because it looks like RFK has the most money when it comes to third-party candidates. It's getting the most traction, but a lot of these people that want to vote for him because he's anti-vaccine and all these other things are people that would possibly vote for Trump. On his Truth Social platform, Trump said, quote, "Why did Junior's family go so bonkers at the thought of him running against crooked Joe Biden? Because they are radical left lunatics and they can't conceive of their even more liberal brother running as anything else." And so according to Donald Trump, he says RFK Jr. is far more liberal and more liberal than anybody running as a Democrat. And so now Trump, although
Listen.
I'm Robert F.
And this was RFK Jr.'s response.
You don't have to believe the lies. You don't have to take sides. You can help me heal the divide. As President of the United States,
this is the best tracking
I'll be standing
ever.
on business and helping the community.
Here we go. Wait.
Hey,
Here we go.
Community service.
I think that.
Hey, yo, that's a bop.
What are we
I
going
don't
to do
care.
if he agrees to come on the podcast?
Who, RFK?
RFK Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, well, we're going to stand on business and interview this man. I mean, look, it is fascinating because also according to RFK Jr., Donald Trump asked him to be his vice president. And he turned that down. You know what I'm saying? And he said, like, there's more. He said, they said Trump denies it. He was like, nah. You know what I'm saying?
Could you imagine, like, the branding, like, the field that you could have with the Trump-Kennedy ticket?
Of course.
Like, the slogans you could come up with.
Absolutely.
They would moonwalk into that White
Right.
House.
But RFK Jr. has his own plans.
He does.
And, Trump is now saying a vote for Jr.
Questionable plans,
would be
but he
a
plans
wasted
nonetheless.
protest vote. Trump even said, I'd even take Biden over Jr.
Oh, he talking heavy.
He's talking heavy. And Any comments on?
I mean, I think, but I would say, as inept as we say Trump is at governing,
yes,
I think the phrasing of that is so politically astute. Like a wasted protest vote.
Yes.
And the way that he just like kind of just dashed away his entire campaign and said,
Absolutely.
look, this nigga is so terrible.
Yes.
I would take Biden over him.
Wow.
Like that eviscerates his campaign.
Yeah. It's also funny. Somebody made the comment of like Trump spent all last year calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe and Crooked Joe while he falls asleep in his criminal trial. You're literally falling asleep during your criminal trial.
Trump said he's sleeping on these niggas.
Oh my God.
He said
so crazy.
Sleeping on these niggas, man.
Miracle? Does RFK have a shot? Could we have a...
Does he?
Stop.
Oh, I didn't even mean it. Oh, shit. I didn't even... Does he have a chance?
Again, we are in this
Does he have a
situation
chance?
because we did not have competitive primaries
Absolutely.
for our senators, for our president.
Yes.
And now we are stuck with wondering whether or not come November,
We are stuck.
where is people going to show up to the polls or come January,
no
are we going to
idea.
have rights or not? I hate it here.
Yes.
Boo boo tomato. It's
Terrible.
very suburban.
It's
Negative
crazy.
10
Well,
out of 50. I do not like it.
Negative
do
10 out of
not
50.
recommend.
0 stars.
Zero stars. Very
stars.
ghetto. Very ghetto. Well, I mean, since he's running, is he officially like endorsed RFK?
Who?
RFK Jr. Is he like actually running? Like
He's an independent candidate. I mean,
so-
his whole family did a rally with Joe Biden.
Right,
And
yeah,
basically was
and
like,
just like, yeah, anybody-
disavowed him as a candidate,
Yes.
but he is running, and he
So
has,
there is an alternative reality where he probably will win presidency.
Well,
There
no,
is a-
there's
listen,
alternative rally
we
where he
just
can get into the
need-
ballot, like you said. Like if Trump is, if RFK Jr. is on the ballot in Pennsylvania,
yeah.
the question is, who does that benefit more? Does that benefit Biden? Will he take more votes away from Trump?
Right.
Or will he take more votes away from Biden? But like Miracle says, if you have a good candidate, right, that wouldn't be a question.
Right.
Because your candidate would be the one. See, it's
Absolutely, yeah.
the candidate's job
Yep.
to earn our votes.
That point, right? That part,
It's
right
not
there.
our responsibility to just blindly vote because he's a Democrat. I know, like, people get nervous when you say
Make
this,
me
right?
want to vote for you.
And they're like, oh, that means Trump's going to be. But it's like, as an empowered voter, you have to earn my vote.
Yeah.
And my vote comes with, I want these policies. I want these. But I don't want to see, more money being sent to bomb innocent men, women, and children in Gaza. I don't want that, right? I don't want to see $95 billion going overseas. I would like that in my communities, right? There's things that I want to see. There are plans that I want to see. And so you should earn it, right? And so
Stand on business, vote on committed.
You should stand, and I guess RFK.
Don't start because I wanted that song 2 weeks ago and you never gave it to me.
I mean, I had writer's block. What do you want me to do?
Oh, wow.
I gave you the song to
wow.
perform.
Wow.
You didn't
Wow.
need to
I
change
can't just-
anything.
well,
This is where we need the argument, Cam.
I'm not
But
that
that's
type of person.
I don't care. Oh my God, I'm
just
an
gonna-
artist. I have to create my own stuff. I can't just say someone else's
wow,
words.
wow.
Whatever. First of all.
Wow.
First of
Jesus
all,
Christ.
ridiculous.
Come on.
But anyway.
Artists do it every day. Come on.
I stood on business, damn it.
You seriously did. And
There
you
was
know-
no business
And
to
you
be
know who
stood on
else?
because it didn't happen.
And you know who else stood on business?
Who?
Our Karen of the week.
Oh my God. She didn't just stand on business. She
No,
drove
but
her point home.
transition.
Our Karen of the week.
I'm glad you caught
What
that.
do you say?
Said she didn't just stand on business. She drove her point home.
She drove her point. She absolutely did. Sandra Dorley is the district attorney of Monroe County, New York City, and the district attorney who's very law and order, who's very back to blue. We love the police. We're endorsed by all these police.
I mean, all the January 6 people said the same shit.
You love the police
and
until
then they fucked them niggas up.
Well, again, you love the police until they try to hold you accountable for the laws you broke.
Right.
And Sandra was speeding. And when the police officer tried to pull her over, she didn't have time for that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
She drove home, not only drove home, but then called his chief of police and then just ignored all. So can you just play the video of, this is Sandra.
Where would you like me to start the video, sir?
Just at the beginning.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? This is wild.
This is the epitome of white privilege.
55
Yes.
and a 35.
I don't really care.
I don't care.
Okay.
So you can call this.
Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
Yes, it
She
is.
was evading.
Call Dennis
Totally
Cohen
ignoring.
right now.
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all.
Purse.
Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone while you're driving.
On the
either.
phone
Yes,
is
I am.
another.
Hands free, absolutely.
Oh, hands free. Okay.
Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
Can you please tell him to leave me alone? It's
Officer Christopher. Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a traffic. This is a legal traffic stop. Do you have your ID?
No, it's in my purse. Here.
You have your purse right there.
No,
able
this
to
is
go
my
back
lunch.
and
Could
forth
you talk
with
to your
Yeah,
talk to Dennis?
going in and out, putting this officer's life at risk. If that's a black
Hello,
person,
sir.
they're shot 5-6 times at this point.
Good, ma'am. Can you please stay at the back? This is ma'am. This is legal traffic stop. Can you please stay over here?
Right.
No. Hey, baby, get your little guy out of here.
She's
Sir,
playing with her dog. She's doing all.
I stopped her for going 55 and a 35 on Phillips
On
Road.
Phillips Road.
And
Coming
she
home from
failed
work.
to stop. She
This is
drove all the way
frustrating
back
to
home
watch.
Yeah.
and parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any
How
of my
many black
commands.
people
Ma'am,
have you
do
locked
not
up
go
for traffic
inside.
stops?
And wait. Yeah. It says Mrs. Dorley can be heard using expletives.
Say
Did
that
I say
again.
that again?
Expletives. Jesus.
Listen, we are
Expletives.
learning new words every day.
Expletives, calling the officer vulgar names and repeatedly escalating the situation. Hold on. It says another officer arrived at the scene, identified himself as the officer's supervisor, and told Miss Dorley that by refusing to stop, she had also broken another law and that it was an arrestable offense. Miss Dorley was not arrested.
Shocker.
So
Spoiler
after
alert.
all of that, after going 20 miles over the speed limit, not stopping, going home, disrespecting the officer, not listening to any of his commands, she wasn't even arrested. Comments on our Karen of the Week?
White privilege at its finest.
I mean, she's the
Because-
DA.
Yes.
No, but she broke multiple laws.
Multiple laws.
Yeah.
Was going, being aggressive and combative, telling the officer she wasn't going to listen to him, she wouldn't give her ID, all type of stuff, and just walking around and grabbing things.
Right. Yeah.
The governor of New York, Kathy, is it Hochul? Is that her name? Said Ms. Dorley undermined her ability to hold others accountable for violating the law. And an advocacy group has started a petition asking for her to be removed from office.
As they should.
And calling for her to be disbarred.
Yeah, I
Quote,
mean-
this is proof that white privilege reigns supreme in our country, and it's time for that to come to an end. You had a comment, Farouk?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should take it a step further and say that she has bias against all traffic stops, and they should pull every record that she ever, every person she ever convicted for any wrongdoing at traffic stop.
Absolutely.
Let them niggas out.
1,000%.
Let them all out.
Can they call their lawyers and do that and say, yo, we want the same treatment that Sandra got?
They can possibly say, hey, this is discriminatory treatment.
Yeah.
But again, it's up to police officer's discretion. Please
I
don't have to
I hope that she gets a citation in the mail with a fine attached to it, because I literally just paid a fine for speeding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro.
Niggas love speeding.
She said,
you should be able to speed. It makes no sense that you have to go 20 miles an hour. People have places to go.
This is what Mrs. Dorley, and she put out an apology video. We're not going to play that. But she said, quote, what I did was wrong. No excuses.
Most of us are moved by white tears because we don't actually think they're real.
Exactly. I didn't treat this officer with the respect he deserved. We all have bad days and stress.
It's always a bad day.
It's always a bad day, right? And it was wrong for me to take it out on an officer who's simply doing her job. But he was like, I'm doing my job. And he told her, you say you're the DA. She said, I am the DA. Give me the traffic ticket. That's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it. And so again, white privilege as what we see all the time.
That's actually a textbook definition.
Even if that was
In
a
practice.
black DA, that person would have been at the least arrested, at the worst shot down for going in and out of your house, in and out of your purse. You know what I'm saying? But it just shows like white privilege and white supremacy is alive and well. Speaking of that, we do have a response. We do have one really quick black mail that we'll get to. Everybody loves a good trilogy, right? So we had the beginning
Rubber
part,
match.
then we had the last week we had the part 2, and this is part 3 of the Sheila The Sheila Goldmaker
Let's go.
trilogy.
I love Sheila, man.
Sheila, and that's why, again, don't be a Karen, be a Sheila.
Be a Sheila.
You know what I'm saying? Sheila sent us, no need to send me a free anything.
Yeah, she bought something.
Just ordered one of your black t-shirts.
She sure did.
Still enjoy your so months. All of your comments teach me and remind me of important issues to keep in my brain. Thanks. You are still my #1 free speech TV show.
Yo,
so Sheila.
You know what NLS means?
Niggas love Sheila.
You feel me?
Come on, already. Yes,
Let's
go,
man.
So if you go to onehood.org, that's the number one hood. You go in the corner, you'll see 3 lines, and you go under merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you can buy. We just posted some new video, hoodie colorways.
Yeah.
On our site, we got the blue and yellow, we got the red and gray, we got the navy blue and white. You know what I'm saying? Get all of your fresh One Hood gear. Be like Sheila.
Be like Sheila, man.
Support One Hood. And you also, if you go to onehood.org, can also make a donation to support One Hood Media and all the great work that we do here. With that being said,
What's
you
that?
got a comment?
What is that?
This is Derek Bell, Faces at the Bottom of the Well. A very famous book talking about racism and white supremacy.
Hey, I know that name. Derek Bell. I know him.
Derek Bell, yes. The founder, the author.
Of the most critiqued
Yes.
racial theory.
Yeah, critical race theory. The permanence of
what I did there?
racism with a new foreword by Michelle Alexander.
Oh, I like Michelle
Officer of the
Alexander.
new Jim Crow. So again, if you want to learn about why a simple hug and some fried chicken ain't gonna get us out of America. No, we got work to do. Faces at the bottom of the well. Pittsburgh's own. Derek Bell. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's swell.
With that being said, do we have anything happening in the world of One Hood?
There are things happening.
Always. So just, I guess you can just go to onehood.org. It's a whole bunch of stuff we're doing, but we are going to be taking some time. We got Patanka coming May 11th, where One Hood will be performing alongside, people from all over the global majority, all over the globe, coming to Patanka, this concert in Pittsburgh. Follow our social media. We'll have all the stuff that's happening in the world of One Hood. We are taking some time this week, to
take time.
After our house.
Team build and do our thing. So yeah, we're gonna be having some fun. Any other things happening? Trouble, Farouk? Final last words?
Again, if you are a young person, age 18 to 25, and you live in Appalachia, particularly in Pennsylvania, and you did not vote, and you do not believe in voting, we have a new project called Project Heard. We're trying to figure out what issues are important to you, what issues are impacting your life, and we have 2 events with that, one in person and one digital, and we're offering a $150 gift card. So please go to our website, go to social media, and apply to be a part of our Project Heard cohort. This is open to anyone, regardless of your political affiliation. We want to hear from you. What is important to you? What issues are impacting your life? What caused you not to vote? What caused you not to be registered to vote? No judgment. We're just trying to hear and listen. So again, Project Heard. You can go on to our website and our social media, see the flyer, and please apply.
Absolutely. Trouble, Farouk, y'all good?
No, but I'll be okay.
You'll be okay. Well, with that being said, we hope and pray America gets it together, but probably not. So we will be back next week with This Week in White Supremacy. Peace, y'all. One Hood.
Peace.